It's the latest chapter in disgraced former politician Dominique Strauss-Kahn's fall from grace. DSK, as he's known here in France, has been associated with scandal since a New York chambermaid accused him of rape. But the rumours surrounding his sexual practices were circling even before the dramatic New York trial.
This affair started, ironically, before the affair in New York that brought down his presidential career. There were anonymous tips that were made to the police in Lille in very early 2011, claiming that there was a prostitution ring operating in that city. And the police started to investigate and discovered that a number of people were involved, including, apparently, Mr. Dominique Strauss-Kahn.
The Carlton affair is named after one of the hotels where businessmen and police officials allegedly organised sex parties that took place in Brussels, Paris and Washington. Prostitution is legal in France, but aiding, organising or assisting in the prostitution of others is not. A conviction hinges on the prosecution's ability to argue that DSK was an organiser and knew the women involved were prostitutes. DSK admits to being a swinger who enjoys orgies, but strenuously denies knowing the women were paid. His supporters argue that while his behaviour was ill-advised, it was not criminal, a position shared by his co-accused.
Everyone knew that he had a sex addiction, but that's a moral issue. It is not a legal problem.
It's a controversial trial for other reasons too, with prosecutors divided on whether there's enough evidence for DSK to stand trial. Strauss-Kahn is expected to testify on February 10th.
Earlier, I was joined by Frederick T. Davis, a member of the Paris Bar and a former US federal prosecutor. He started off by explaining what exactly DSK is accused of.
As I understand it, the theory of the judges who urged that he be brought to trial was that he benefited from this. He drew a profit from it, not in terms of money, but by getting sort of free sex without having to pay for it. But that only makes sense if he knew that they were prostitutes, namely as free sex from a prostitution group. And one of his lawyers rather classically said a few years ago, not recently, just imagine he's at a party and he runs into a naked woman. What could be more natural? And how would he know that she's a prostitute? So that is a defense. I think they have better defenses, but that is one of the defenses.
Now, obviously, this isn't the first sex case, if I can put it like that, concerning Dominique Strauss-Kahn. Is it possible for the judges in this particular case to hear any evidence from previous ones?
Yes. Unlike American law, if the case against him had gone to trial in New York, which it did not, it's more likely than not that judge would not have considered, or that jury would not have considered, other evidence. In France, there's what they call liberté de la preuve, namely basically open proof. And if the court finds it relevant, they could hear evidence of other escapades that he's had of this sort. But it would have to be oriented towards the commercial sex. The fact that he has a sexual appetite, I'm not sure would prove that.